Council in session, please stand for the Worshipful, the Mayor of the Borough Decorum, Councillor Catherine McCreevy.
So, good evening everyone and welcome to this meeting of the Council. I would ask members to remain respectful and adhere to the rulings of the Mayor at all times. Can I ask that all persons as this interferes with the meeting audio? Finally, I would remind everyone that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Photography may also take place as long as it does not prejudice the proceedings at this meeting. So, to agenda item 1. Does Council agree the minutes of the previous meeting held on the 17th of December 2025? Agree. Thank you. Agenda item 2, declarations of interest. Members are reminded that if they have any interest in respect of any item on this evening's agenda, they should declare them now. Are there any declarations of interest? Apologies for the sound. Okay, agenda item 3, there is no public participation. Agenda item 4, under announcements, I'd like to give you a short update of some of the mayoral activities that have taken place since the last meeting. So we've had the Hemel Hempstead School celebration evening, where I have to say, completely inspired by some of the amazing youngsters that we have in our borough, look forward, having heard the achievements that they've made over the last year, and not only academic achievements, but achievements in music, achievements in sport. I think we're very lucky borough. Very sorry about sound. We're a very lucky borough, and I'm very hopeful about the future with the new generation coming up. We've had a Ukrainian Christmas fair. We've got a thriving Ukrainian community in Hemel Hempstead and Hertfordshire. We've had Salvation Army Christmas dinner, which is an annual occasion, 100th birthday for John Whitney. We had the Global Hill public launch, and first Axley Scout Group.
Sorry, there's a lot of interference, we just want to see it. There's a lot of try for microphone.
Yes, please. Is that better? That does sound. We had first Axley Scout Group, learning science and interface. We had Holocaust Memorial Day. That's not it. Apologies. Sound. won't restart at the beginning.
Need to be turned off.
Could the people whose microphones are on turn them off, please?
I think they're all off now, they're just restarting.
Councillor Williams?
It's not showing as a list.
Okay. Don't worry, it will just turn off in a moment. So we got to Holocaust Memorial Day. There was also a visit up to Cupid Green Depot, which I think is always lovely to celebrate the staff at DBC because they do a wonderful job. We had maternity and neonatal voices in Grove Hill, and we had the installation of a new Archbishop of Westminster because Dacorum is in the parish of Westminster. And in addition to that, some of you may have noticed that the last few days the Mayor has been walking around the borough and has gone to many of your wards so far, but there's still many more to do, about halfway through the long walk at the moment. So, yeah, I think Berkhamsted today, Tring yesterday, Puttenham, Long Marston, done a good portion of Hemel. So, we'll now move on. If I could ask Darren, do you have any announcements as Chief Executive? Thank you. I'll now invite the group leaders to give any apologies for absence on behalf of their groups.
There are no apologies from the Liberal Democrat group.
Apologies on behalf of Councillor Binder.
There are no apologies in the Labour group.
Thank you. If I could ask our Democratic Services Officer to confirm if we have any other apologies, please.
We've received apologies from Councillor Kaposi. My apologies, and Councillor Sewell.
Thank you. Now moving on to agenda item 5, I draw your attention to the portfolio holder updates as published with the agenda. I will invite questions against each item in turn. First, though, I will ask Councillor Sally Symington if she has a verbal update to give as leader of the council.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm going to just give a brief update on local government reorganisation. I think you're all aware that the government has started a consultation a public consultation and with other stakeholders on the options for 2, 3 and 4 unitaries. It's being circulated to the stakeholders and it's available to the public. It runs until the 26th of March. So please do encourage any stakeholders that you're aware of or residents who wish to fill it in to do so. I just need to remind you that as a council we have to remain neutral on the way that we present the options. Obviously you're free to campaign privately, but as a council we have to remain neutral. The Hearts Leaders Group have restarted their meetings to discuss and organise all the necessary arrangements as we move through the local government reorganisation process. The last meeting that we had, or we've had one meeting this year, was convened, and we were shared the views of a number of peer mentors who gave some feedback on the processes that they've been through and their experiences. And I just wanted to share with you a couple of those things. One of them, and I guess it applies to pretty much everything we do, and that is the importance of communication. And to that end, I've agreed with Darren that we will reform the working party, the cross-party working group, to meet regularly so that we can share updates with members. We'll also be ensuring that members are briefed regularly, and we'll be briefing town and parish councillors and other stakeholders. One of the sort of, I guess, wiser comments was, and I think it's important to remember this, that local government reorganisation is a process, it's not an event. And I think if we kind of view it that way, it's not a date in time when everything finishes, it's a continuum, and we need to see and plan for way beyond that. And remember that through whatever happens, we have to continue delivering the best services for our residents, and that is our top priority. I think I'll leave it at that. I'm happy to take any questions.
Councillor Hobson.
Thank you, Mayor. Just because I'd seen quite a lot of stuff that was going on, some noise on Facebook and things, and the recent announcement with the Hill Group, I just wanted to ask the leader to clarify whether or not the Water Gardens car parks are being evaluated for housing. Thank you.
The Water Gardens car parks are being evaluated. There's a as part of the Decorum investment partnership with the Hill Group, and there are 3 sites that are involved that the partnership is looking at. One is the Cherry Bounce at the top of Hemel Old Town. One is the site of the old Civic Centre, and the other is that long site of the Water Gardens. And the evaluation for the Water Gardens bit takes into account the fact that we do need vital car parking spaces, and we will need them if the Hemel Health Campus progresses in the way that we are intending or hoping.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
Just to get clarification that, because there has been, as I say, a lot of controversy and talking about, and I think potentially getting muddled up, which is one of the reasons for just asking for the clarification. Is it the Water Gardens car parks we're talking about, or the Water Gardens, because obviously they're listed and they are protected? Because you mentioned Water Gardens, it is the car parks that are part of the third one.
Yeah, sorry, if that wasn't clear, it is the car parks.
Thank you.
The Water Gardens themselves are, as you say, are protected and are a vital part of Hemel Hempstead, and I think we would all agree, everyone in this chamber.
I think it's important because, you know, there's chatter on Facebook, so that's helpful. Thank you.
I'm aware there's been chat on Facebook, and there has been some response to that. Yeah, but thank you. I am happy to clarify that the Water Gardens will be protected.
Thank you. Okay, no more questions. So we'll now move on to People and Transformation, Climate and Ecological Emergency Portfolio. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Smith-Wright on her update. So we'll start with Councillor Taylor, please.
We have all heard of many incidents in the wider media about cybersecurity being compromised. What is the Council doing to ensure the security of our residents' data?
Sorry, what's going on? I'm hearing mumbling.
Right, I thought...
Stand.
Is this showing disrespect to the council by not standing?
Right, I apologise to all. We have seen considerable examples in the media of cybersecurity being compromised in large institutions. What I would like to understand is how secure is our residents' data, and what are we doing to ensure the security of our wider system environment? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Taylor. Yes, our commitment to data security is absolutely essential. Protecting the personal information of our residents is far more than a technical task. It is a fundamental part of our duty of care. Every day we manage sensitive data from housing records to financial details, and we treat that responsibility with the highest priority. To ensure this data remains safe, we don't just hope our systems work, we subject them to rigorous government-backed testing. So, Cyber Essential Plus, what is it? While many organisations simply self-certify their security, we have achieved Cyber Essentials Plus. This is the highest level of the government-backed scheme. Think of it as an official health check. It isn't just a paperwork exercise, it involves an independent expert physically testing our defences to see if they can break in. By passing this, we have proven that our digital locks are effective against the most sophisticated cyber threats. In the last year alone, this rigorous approach has allowed us to identify and close off potential vulnerabilities before they could even be exploited. Critically, our IT department doesn't work in isolation. We are part of a national network of excellence receiving early warning alerts directly from the National Cyber Security Centre and the Ministry of Housing, Communities and Local Government. These organisations act as our national intelligence service, spotting global threats before they reach us. When a high-level vulnerability is identified nationally, we have a strict maximum window of 14 days to resolve it. I want to be clear, 14 days is the absolute limit allowed under the highest security standards. Our team works to neutralise these threats as soon as they are identified. This rapid response ensures that the window of opportunity for a cyber criminal is slammed shut almost as soon as it arrives. PCN certification is our passport to trusted services. In addition to this certification is a strict requirement for connecting to national systems like the DWP and HMRC. It ensures that our network is secure enough to handle data shared at a national level, because PSN compliance requires us to undergo annual high-level scans. It ensures that a cyber attack evolves our defences and we protect ourselves even further. Beyond these certifications, we use a layered defence approach to ensure resident details are never left exposed. To start with, we use high-level encryption. This means that even the unlikely event that data was intercepted, it would be completely unreadable. It's the digital equivalent of a locked safe where the contents are scrambled to anyone but us. Secondly, we operate a strict need-to-know policy. We ensure that staff can only access the specific information required to do their job.
Councillor Smith-Wright, sorry, can I just prompt you to
Sure. Yes.
speed
So
up?
the bottom line is these accreditations are more than just badges on a website. They represent a culture of security by design. For our residents, this means they can interact with the council online with total confidence, knowing their privacy is protected by industry-leading standards that are tested and proven every single year.
Thank you. Councillor Taylor, was there a supplementary?
I have no further questions.
Thank you. Okay, so Councillor Timmis, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask a question, please, the portfolio holder, about the KPI for days off sick over the 1 quarter of 2,727, which seems quite a lot. And when you work it out per day, that's something like 30 a day. I'd just like to know how you would explain this and how that compares to other councils.
Thank you, Councillor Timmis. I will respond in with a written response, if that's okay.
Yes.
Councillor Timmis, did you have a supplementary to that?
Yes, I'd like it to be responded to, not just to me, but to everybody in the council, please.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Baradell, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a question about EV charge points. I've seen some conflicting language in different reports and places online. So just to clarify, could you provide an update on the current state of rollout of EV charge points in the 19 council neighbourhood car parks? Are they now all complete and operational? If not, when will this be done by? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Baradell. Yes, all 19 sites have now been completed. And I will be updating the council on the savings as far as emissions go, but I'm pleased to say that 19 sites have been installed.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
Yes, are they all fully operational?
Yes, as far as I am aware.
Thank you. Councillor Hannell, please.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to take the portfolio holder to page 11 of her report, the top of page 11 under the bullet point Sustainable Communities. I'm pleased that the portfolio holder has acknowledged the £6.1 million of cumulative funding provided by this government to improve domestic energy efficiency. But can she provide councillors with information as to what 400 social homes mean? I presume they mean social housing, but I don't know. Where these homes are and what criteria was used to support improvements to those residents. And finally, where are the 100 low-income private homes that became more energy efficient due to this government's assistance? A full briefing to councillors would be appropriate to move this issue forward. Thank you.
I am afraid I'm going to have to respond with a written response Thank you.
Thank you. Any supplementary, councillor Hannell?
Thank you.
No. Okay, so I'll move on to councillor Mitchell, please.
I was wondering if the portfolio holder could advise if there is an update on the recruitment of the new head of neighbourhoods. Thank you.
Head of neighbourhood. Sorry, is that for me or for Robin?
Well, it's a recruitment matter, so I believe the post is empty.
Right, I'll have to find out and get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any supplementary to that, councillor Mitchell?
Not to that, but I do have a further question if that's
If it's not the same, if it's not supplementary, you'd have to go back in the queue.
Okay.
Okay, so next, councillor Jankowski, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could the portfolio holder kindly provide further details on the Transition Streets programme launching this month and the benefits in terms of tackling both climate change and the cost of living crisis? Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, the Sustainable Streets Together is a partnership between Dacorum, Borough Council and the Grand Union Community Energy Juice. The aim of the programme is to empower residents to lower their carbon footprints, save money and strengthen local connections. Juice brings extensive experience from successfully delivering the Transition Streets programme in 3 Rivers, enabling us to offer Dacorum residents a proven community-driven model. Over an 18-month period, Juice plans to support resident groups across the borough by helping them form neighbourhood or social work groups and guiding them through the full programme. The programme is open to everyone, but we will also focus the programme specifically on low-income areas. Through our network and connections, the programme will deliver 7 workshops for each group with practical actions covering energy, food, travel, water, waste and nature. We are targeting deprived areas because households facing higher energy costs, lower quality housing and increased vulnerability to fuel poverty experience the greatest benefit from support that reduces bills, improves home efficiency and strengthens community resilience. This ensures the programme tackles both climate impact and inequalities.
Thank you. Councillor Jankowski, did you have a supplementary?
Thank you. No.
No. I think we're out of time for the next question, so apologies, councillor Pringle, we're not going to be able to go to your question. Okay, so thank you. Now to the Housing and Property Services portfolio. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to councillor Diani on her update. Apologies, the time has stopped. Okay, we're going to manually time. So, councillor Diani, please. Oh, apologies. Your light's on already in anticipation. So, councillor Guest, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Why have roofing works to council properties taken so long with scaffolding up for over 6 months, damage being caused to properties by the works, and neighbouring owner-occupiers being unable to complete works on their properties because of the scaffolding?
Thank you for the question, Councillor Guest. I think you have to refer me to a specific address and I can get property team to get me an answer because I recently picked up on a casework for roofing and we actually delivered within a week before Christmas. So yeah, it's to my surprise, and do let me know which specific site we're talking about. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Guest, did you have a supplementary?
I do indeed. Would the portfolio holder be able to accept not just the one property, but the list? Because there is a number of them, including one in her ward, which is just over the border from mine, and the residents concerned thought they were in my ward. So, because it involves specific properties, I'll take this offline and I'll email the portfolio holder.
Thank you.
Thank you. Absolutely happy to. Yes, please do email and we'll get the answers for you, and I'm sure there have to be reasons if it's taking time, but we'll get back to you once we know the addresses. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Timmis, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to ask a question, please, the portfolio holder, about the 26 new refugees that have been supported into accommodation. And I'd like to ask you where these refugees, new refugees as they're written, have come from. Are they from the hotels that are in Dacorum, and in particular in Markyate, in my ward, or are they from elsewhere?
Thank you for the question. So when we talk about refugees, it's basically a rolling program from government, and we have to take, I think it's about 269 at any given time in terms of a number. If there's a specific number we're talking about, I have to look into and find out if they are the ones from hotels. So hotels ones would only be moved out once they get a status from Home Office. They do move into several different varieties of homes. We also source private homes for them. So it's not sure where the concern is. Is this a concern for them moving into social housing, or? I'm sorry, I'm leaving with the question because I didn't get what's the exact concern there. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a supplementary?
Well, it's not supplementary, it's just to reinforce perhaps the question that I asked, which is about where these refugees have come from. Have they come from outside, or are they refugees that are being rehomed out of the hotels? This is what I'm asking, is whether, because I'm assuming that at some point the government are wanting to close down the hotels, and I'm obviously of interest to know what's going to happen to those refugees.
I'm happy to get the information and send it over to you, but it's most likely Home Office has sent those to Dacorum. But as I said, I would be happy to get more details and send it over. And if you would like, I can share it with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there's no more questions. So next to Corporate and Commercial Services portfolio, I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Allen on his update. Councillor Diani, your microphone is still on.
Sorry, Madam Mayor, I can add a few bits of detail to my report if it would be helpful for colleagues.
I think we'll see. I'm assuming they've read the report. If they've got questions, they can ask. So no questions, so I don't think you need to provide any further information. Thank you. Okay, so thank you. Next to the Neighbourhood Operations portfolio, I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor Bonham on his update. So we'll start with Councillor Mitchell, please.
Councillor Bonham, the portfolio holder, aware of the significant fly tipping issue at the Bring sites at Rossgate shops?
The fly tipping and littering in general at the Bring sites is a problem that we identified some time ago. The Bring sites are really obsolete. They became obsolete when domestic recycling was introduced in the 1990s, and so the consultation into the Bring sites is now completed. I can't see any real justification for keeping those at all, and so we will be. So the decision hasn't been made yet, but I don't see any significant reasons to keep the blue lid recycling bins. The textile and waste electrical items are subject to a separate contract, and they may provide some value. So those may remain, and we will evaluate whether those attract the same sort of littering and fly tipping as the blue lid bins do.
Thank you. Do you have a supplementary?
Yes, I do. Because I believe Rossgate Shop, I was previously told, is ranked second for the worst fly tipping in Dacorum, would it be possible for a deployable camera to be placed there in the interim period while we wait for the Bring Sites report and implementation of changes?
So we've implemented, I think, deployable small low-cost cameras at a couple of sites on the A41, and there is an intention to extend those. They're fairly low-cost cameras. I think in the particular sort of neighbourhood centre location you're talking about, I think that would be a different kind of camera, which would be more in the housing department.
Okay. Maybe we could
Thank
email
you.
each other about it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Councillor Berriedale, please.
Thank you. Also, the removal of Bring Sites.
Sorry, Councillor Mitchell, could you turn your...
Sorry. Thank you. Also, on the removal of Bring Sites, one conversation that I've had with residents is that they use them a couple of times a year at peak demand when they have excess recycling, like around Christmas. I wondered if that was reflected in the data that portfolio holders looked at as part of the consultation, and if so, if sites are removed, whether any thought has been put to providing temporary Bring Sites around times of peak demand like Christmas.
So there hasn't been a consideration of any temporary bin sites, but we do have a facility for people to put waste out next to their recycling bin if they've got, if their bin is full up, and if they've got a large household, and that happens a lot, they can request a larger bin. So we should probably improve our communications to make sure that everybody understands that they can do that. If they've got at a party and they've got several bags of bottles, they can put those out next to their blue lid bin, and yeah, it would be good if that was more widely known. Yeah.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
Yes, sort of, yeah. If we could look at communicating that better to the residents, that would be greatly appreciated, because I've had several conversations around the removal of Bring Sites where what are we going to do at Christmas with all our bottles has been raised. So maybe a seasonal campaign could be considered in the run-up to Christmas this year.
Noted, thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Timmis, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. First of all, I'd like to congratulate you on all the tree planting that has been going on. And my question is, where are you sourcing the trees and the whips and so on? I'm hoping that you're sourcing them within Dacorum. And if you aren't, then I'm hoping that you might consider sourcing them from Majestic Trees, which is in my ward and is an extremely good tree nursery.
I'm very much in favour of local sourcing. I'm aware of Eastbourne Council actually has their own nursery. It's not something that Dacorum does. I know that the trees, that the suppliers have to be certified to make sure that they're disease-free and so on. And I'm afraid I'm not sure exactly where they are. You know, that's a procurement matter. So I'm not sure if you want a written answer to that. I don't think it's important exactly where they come from. It's the quality that matters, and it's an operational matter where the officers decide to source them. But with that in mind, that local sourcing is important, and I do favour that.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
I'd just like to follow that up and say, I think you should look at whether, I would have thought procurement should look first and foremost at whether they can procure this sort of thing within Dacorum and locally. Because we do have, as I've already mentioned, a very successful and possible source. Thank you. So I hope you will look at that and let me know where the trees come from.
Can I just make a reminder that a couple of the supplementaries we've had haven't been actual questions, so just a reminder that questions rather than sort of statements, if that's okay. Okay, Councillor Guest, please.
Madam Mayor, I have photos of Councillor Pound standing by the Butterfly Bank in Springfields before her election as a councillor in the Borough Council elections of 2023. So why is this achievement being listed as an achievement of this administration when it was an achievement of the previous Conservative administration?
Sorry, was that a question for me or for Councillor Bonham?
Madam Mayor, it was for Councillor Bonham, the portfolio holder.
If I heard you correctly, it was about the implementation of the butterfly garden by the Sunnyside Trust. And yeah, fantastic. We had a look at it the other day. Our walk went past there, and it's actually implemented by the housing department, by the HRA, and it wasn't actually managed by neighbourhoods. But if you yourself helped to instigate that, I congratulate you and thank you.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
I do indeed. Is this Lib Dem minority administration having to cite Conservative achievements such as the Butterfly Bank and Rivergate administration, Rivergate restoration, because it is so short of its own?
The Gade restoration, I think I've been clear all along that project has been in progress for many years, and if the Lib Dem administration was in control when it started, it might have been a little bit different. It might have included the upper part of the park, but it is where it is at the moment. It's a shared, a joint achievement and celebration.
Thank you. Councillor Greenfield. Sorry. Councillor Wyatt Lowe, please.
That's you. Sorry, Madam Mayor, I didn't press the. I saw it and I thought that you'd pressed it by mistake.
No. Okay. So it's okay. I'll move on to Councillor Greenfield, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Can I ask the portfolio holder for more specific times on the work to Coronation Field and the car park behind the surgery? With the current bad weather, residents are seriously concerned about the size of the potholes and the flooding.
Yes, that's another site that we visited on the Mayor's Walk, and it is quite appalling at the moment. The officers are very aware of that urgency, and they have defined the supplier to work on that, and so they're designing the solution at the moment, and they hope to have spades in the ground during the spring, and so everything is in motion for that. The ball is rolling. We'll be looking carefully at what's done, and we'll be looking at the plans as soon as they're done. I know there are some difficult aspects like the narrow entrance and drains and things, but we will be doing everything we can to expedite that.
Thank you. Councillor Greenfield, did you have a supplementary?
I do, please. Spring is a rather long period of time. Could we have more specific timings that we can give to our residents, if possible?
Not at the moment. We'll announce it to the councillors as soon as things are moving along.
Okay, apologies. We're not going to have time to get to the next two questions, so apologies to Councillor Mitchell and Councillor Doris. Okay, finally to the place portfolio. I will take the report as read and invite any questions to Councillor England on his update. So we'll start with Councillor Jankowski, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Could the portfolio holder provide an update and further detail on the Hemel Hempstead e-bike scheme?
Thank you, Councillor Jankowski. Yes, the e-bike scheme is a very good step for the main town in this borough. I think it gives us the prospect and the very apparent prospect of being the big town that Hemel Hempstead aspires to be, and which it will be within a few years' time. It will be the biggest town in Hertfordshire. I think it's really important that we own that. I think it's part of our future. It's inevitable, but it also has a strong positive aspect. So the e-bike scheme is out to procurement at the moment. We don't know who's going to produce it, and that limits my ability to talk about details of how the scheme will manifest. But I am clear that it will be a scheme which, on the main spine, is a docked scheme. There has been rather a lot of misinformation out there about the prospect of bikes being left lying in the way, which is ironic, really, because how many times have you had to go out into the road to get around a parked car that's parked on the pavement? Seems to be the same thing. The scheme will initially run between the railway station and Maylands. It will provide a quick and healthy route into town. We gather from our surveying before going ahead with this procurement that it will be of great use to some students who arrive on the train and need to get to the college. I think I will probably leave it there, but there is a...
I was just going to say, can we speed up, because we've got quite a list of people wanting to speak. Councillor Jankowski, did you have a follow-up?
I don't know. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Gale, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I understand that the council undertook extensive engagement with residents about the health campus last year. Can I ask the portfolio holder how that engagement has been responded to?
Thank you, Councillor Gale. I want to pick up on some of the comments made by the leader earlier on. It is certainly the case that feasibility work has been announced, looking at the water gardens. The detail that wasn't sufficiently perhaps brought out, which I'd like to emphasise, is that the reason that feasibility is being done is because we are a listening council. We are a council that did with the NHS, did significant engagement last year, which I'm afraid some people seem to think didn't happen, but it really did. And the evidence that it really did is that we're doing feasibility work costing £38,500 in the water gardens in order to make sure that we have a plan, and the NHS has a plan, to make sure that there is enough car parking for the people using the health campus when it's built. We're coming to the OBC outline business case, and that is the time when it will be necessary for us, for the project team, to answer that question about car parking. The other two schemes which were mentioned at the same time...
Councillor England, can I just ask for... Look, it's not a big statement.
Madam, with all due respect, I am answering the question.
Okay.
More
succinct, please. Thank you.
Yes. Just to clear up that the other two sites mentioned are development sites, whereas this is feasibility work to look at car parking.
Thank you. Councillor Gale, did you have a supplementary?
No, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Mitchell, please.
Can the portfolio holder please reassure me that the significant flooding that has recently been seen and photographed and videoed on social media posts on the strategic Polehanger Lane site, that it is being suitably addressed by the planning team? Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Mitchell. Yes, I can absolutely give you that assurance. I think it's worth pointing out the obvious observation that we have just seen 40 continuous days of rain, which is pretty unusual. It's probably a good reminder to us all that climate change really is a thing and we really do have to tackle it.
Thank you. Did you have a supplementary?
No, thank you.
Okay, Councillor Freedman, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Councillor England, I just want to loop back to your answer on e-bikes. A few moments ago, you mentioned that we are evaluating suppliers. Can I just ensure that you and the council are aware that in a number of press articles that we've seen, the image that has been used has suggested that just thinking how to phrase it without it, that there is a very identifiable company already put in the images that some press areas have taken. So is the council dealing with those publications to make sure they remove those images?
Thank you, Councillor Freedman. In my previous life, I was involved in comms, so I'm absolutely not going to blame the comms team, but I will talk to them and see whether there is an identifiable brand. Perhaps Councillor Freedman is an expert on e-bike brands and therefore is able to judge which brand it is, because I wasn't. All I could see was a white bike, which appeared to be an e-bike, which is correct. All of these bikes are e-bikes, which is an important point because on an e-bike, a hill doesn't exist. So for anyone who thinks that hills are going to stop us from having an e-bike scheme that works, I don't think it is, because these are e-bikes. They go up hills, but almost without any pedalling.
Thank you. Councillor Freedman, did you have a supplementary?
Not a supplementary.
Thank you. Okay, so no more questions. So we'll move on to agenda item 6, which is business from the last council meeting. So all updates are provided in the action point list as published under agenda item 6. Are these agreed as noted? Thank you. So agenda item 7, I invite the leader, sorry, Councillor Ingley, could you turn your mic off, please? Thank you. I invite the leader of the council to introduce the referrals from Cabinet.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So I'm going to introduce item 7.1 CA 0726, the Community Governance Review. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.1 of the agenda.
Do you have a seconder?
I would like to second that and reserve my right to speak.
Okay, I can see that we have members indicating that they wish to speak against this item. I will therefore open the floor to debate and will invite you in turn. I would remind members that you may only speak once on this item for up to a maximum of 5 minutes in accordance with the rules of debate. Before I invite... Okay, I will start with Councillor Williams.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not speaking against the recommendations. I just wanted to put on record the reservations that I've already expressed through the working group, that this, given the current situation with LGR, local government review, and the unknown status of local government in Hertfordshire going forward with various options currently still on the table, that this is not the right time to be consulting our residents on another form of restructuring at more local level. I think this process should be undertaken once we know what the outcome of LGR is and what the shape of local government is going to be in Hertfordshire. There is a significant difference between a 2-unitary and a 4-unitary option in terms of the number of councillors that will be representing residents of young parish areas going forward, and it would be, I think, very important that those figures were known before we embark on this process. So whilst we will not be voting against the recommendation, we do want our concerns to be noted. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor Hannell.
Chair, I'm very pleased that the Conservative benches are not voting against this. I'm the chair of the Electoral Review Committee, and as a proud Hemel boy with Hemel parents and Hemel grandparents, I was tremendously honoured to be able to be the chair of the committee at this very crucial time. But there was also another very crucial time back in 1972 when we were 2 years away from the old Hemel Hempstead Municipal Borough Council being dissolved, and I'm very pleased to say that the last leader of that council, Gordon Gaddis, is in the gallery today. He's approaching his 90th birthday. He's a good comrade of mine and a solid friend to the members on the Labour group, and gives us tremendously good counsel from his years of experience. What I will say is that we will embark on a journey that hopefully we'll be able to resurrect a town council for Hemel Hempstead. And I would like to thank very much the committee members on the review committee, and especially the officers who have assisted to getting us to this stage and will be assisting us further as we move on to the first consultation. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. So all members who wanted to speak appear to have spoken. Does the seconder wish to exercise her right to speak?
I would if I'm allowed. Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to state on record that I fundamentally disagree with the comments made by Councillor Williams. I think it's essential that residents should have a say on whether they are parished or not. There has not been a community governance review in Hemel Hempstead for, I believe it's 27 years. And given the workload that a new authority will be under, it is extremely unlikely that a new authority will visit community governance review in its first term, which means that the people of Hemel Hempstead will not have had a chance to have a say on whether they should have a parish to represent their interests for well over 30 years. And I do not feel it is responsible of this council to not give them their say. More than that, there's certain pragmatic angles. St Albans next week publishes the results of its own community governance review. And if they agree to have a parish, then the four unitary model that puts Dacorum together with St Albans may have the best representation that was argued about in this chamber. However, it will leave Hemel Hempstead as the only area in that model of unitary that does not have a parish. More than that, there are certain anomalies, such as the fact that Hemel Hempstead there are some neighbouring wards that are not parished, places like Bourne End and Feldon. We've also got the anomaly of Hemel Gardens community being very enormously placed in a parished area, and the population of Hemel Gardens community will in the future dwarf that parish council's population. We've also had a lot of discussions about stewardship, and parish councils provide a very important role with stewardship. In fact, there's a lot of evidence that shows that unitaries often call upon parishes to help them with devolved delivery of activities such as open spaces and leisure. More than that, we've had long debates in this council chamber about equivalence of the funding of open spaces in parished and unparished areas. And excuse the pun, but I do believe that we need all communities in the borough to be on a level playing field. Hemel Hempstead residents often complain that Hemel is forgotten and has no voice. This proposal is providing them with a chance not to require that we have a parish, but at least that they have a say as to whether they wish to have a parish or not. That is a very important democratic function, and I cannot encourage colleagues more in supporting this.
Thank you. Councillor Symington, as the mover of a motion, do you wish to exercise your final right to reply?
Thank you. I think quite a lot's been said already. I just wanted to add one or two other things. I think, as I said, a lot's been covered already. William, you didn't we talked about if there's a 4 unitary model and St Albans go ahead, we will be the only unparished area. In the 2 unitary model, were we to end up in that situation, Hemel would have even less of a voice because it would be one of many areas. And I think under any scenario, we would want the people of Hemel to have that voice. One thing I did just want to raise or to bring to the council's attention, and I mentioned before that I have attended the Hearts Leaders Group meetings. And I do that, obviously, as the leader of this council. I realise, as we are often reminded, this is a minority administration. I go there, I represent everybody, and I bring back to you the words of other leaders from across parties. And what I have heard at these meetings is that once you have gone through the unitisation, it is not a priority for any council to go through a community governance review. And that is one of the reasons why I am really keen to do this ahead of community governance, ahead of local government reorganisation. And the other really, really major difference is that if you look back 10 or 15 years, when the first, when there were a lot of other councils became unitaries, there was a lot more funding. It was before austerity, and there was money left for public spaces, for making towns beautiful. And actually what we all know now is once we become a unitary authority, the costs of social care, adults and children, will dominate those budgets. The statutory obligations that the council will face will be enormous, and there will be very little money left for doing the nice things in our community. And I think it's really important that we have a tier of government for Hemel Hempstead that can look after and promote Hemel Hempstead. We know how areas, and this, we're going to talk about this in the budget, there are many areas in Hemel that need investment and across all of Dacorum, areas that have been neglected, areas of deprivation. And we want the people of Hemel Hempstead to have the ability to invest in those areas and to have a voice and to speak up for them. And that's why we must do a community governance review now, ahead of local government reorganisation.
Thank you.
And I should say, I would urge everybody to vote in favour of this motion.
Well, thank you. As all the speakers have indicated they are in support of the referral, I will take this by way of a unanimous agreement, if we're all agreed, with a note of the comments made by Councillor Williams. Are we all agreed? Thank you. So, if I can now hand back to Councillor Symington to introduce the remaining referrals from Cabinet.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Item 7.2 CA/08/26, the Constitution Review. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.2 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
I'd like to second it and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. Are the recommendations agreed? Thank you.
Thank you. Shall I carry on?
Yes, if you could carry on, please.
So, item 7.3 CA/09/26, Budget 2026-2027. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.3 of the agenda.
Do you have a seconder?
I'd like to second again and reserve my right to speak.
Thank you. So there appears to be no members wishing to speak. Oh, Councillor Doris.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a cunning plan.
Sorry, Councillor Doris, just to remind you, the debate's a maximum of 5 minutes.
Has it started after the laughter? Because
you're using your time now.
I know, Madam Mayor, but you provoked the laughter. During the discussions over the concurrent services, a number of villages it showed how much they care for their villages, and also the fact that we are incredibly lucky that we live in an area which has villages, open spaces, green spaces, and a whole rural aspect to it. And that is something which is really precious, and we don't want to lose it. And if there were to be a parish, a larger parish, possibly going forward in some stage, but particularly with villages, we need to recognise the villages. And there's an opportunity in my cunning plan, and I address the leader of the council specifically, and I hope that she will engage with my cunning plan, because she also lives in a village. And the village, and my cunning plan is very simple. I would like us, the Coreham Borough Council, to reintroduce the Best Kept Village competition. I would like us to revisit the Best Kept Village competition. You're allowed to do it at that end as well. I did think of bringing it as an amendment, but I thought that that would possibly not necessarily fit the bill. So what I'm saying, with an element of humour and humility, I would like you to consider that cunning plan going forward. It will encourage people to get out. It will encourage people to take pride in their villages if they haven't already done so. It will encourage a community spirit within a wider range of people who may not actually get out into the villages, believe it or not, as much as they might do. And it will also make our villages very special. They are special at the moment, but we want to make them very special. They are unique. Dacorum is unique. And whatever comes in place or after Dacorum, the villages are still going to be there. So, and that was what, was that a whistle? Does it mean to stop?
So that was Councillor Williams that whistled at you.
Oh, I would defer to Councillor Andrew Williams. But that's my cunning plan, and I hope very sincerely that you will all join with it, and I look forward to seeing it coming up in the future. And I'm happy to work with portfolio holder and officers in terms of finance and so on. I reckon a £10,000 item is not going to break the bank, probably. We might have got enough money to do it. So that's my cunning plan. Over to Councillor Williams.
Thank you. Councillor Williams, please. And sorry, Councillor Doris, it was the other Councillor Williams that I believe the whistle came from.
Oh, that's all right.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I was going to say, Terry and I are friends, but I'm not friendly enough to be whistling during council meetings. If my wife wants to, well, that's down to her. I rise just to make a few words on the budget. This is, yesterday we sat in another place and set a budget where there was a huge financial pressure caused by a significant reduction in funding for central government. Here we have a budget which is sprinkled with a little bit of additional funding from central government. By and large, apart from that, the budget is pretty much as it has been for the last 2 or 3 years, a continual roll-on of successful financial policies that they inherited from the previous administration. What is different slightly in this, and what I've raised, again I've raised these concerns through the process, is that we have about 1.5 million, this administration through some various twists of fate have been very fortunate in compared with other labouring councils in the financial situation they faced over the last few years. Lots of extra money from interest, from green bins, from the government, and now from a significant, but in my perspective, slightly worrying reduction in our pension contributions and what that could potentially imply over the medium term, and is just very reliant on the fund doing very well in terms of its growth over the next 3 years to remain in the 100% plus area. And again, that's an issue that I have raised with our Chief Financial Officer, who gives me a degree of reassurance that that will be fine. What I rise to raise the concern with on this budget is that for the first time in my memory, we have all of that additional 1.5 million asked to be agreed on tonight to spend with no papers to tell us what it's being spent on. Some very rounded 338,000 for neighbourhoods, 500,000 for schemes yet to be decided. That to me is not the way in which we should be setting the budget. We should have some idea before we stick our hands up and say we'll spend this £1.5 million next year. We should know some of the ideas it's going to be spent on. And we don't have that in detail. We have, to say, some headlines. I appreciate some of that money came through a little bit later than we might have been expected. But I just wanted to put that on record that to me that is an unusual way to do it, and it doesn't seem entirely appropriate. I mean, we are akin here, I think, to the Dividend Administration to children in a sweet shop. We've got a pocket full of money and we're running around just trying to work out how to spend it. Thanks very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Councillor England, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, Madam Mayor. So, like Councillor Williams, at Hertfordshire, I sit on the Pensions Committee. I've learned a lot about pensions, not as much as Councillor Williams knows, because he used to be the chair, but a fair bit. And this actually came up at HCC budget setting yesterday. It is the fact, just to reassure anybody who's expecting a pension from that pension fund, that it is at the moment, I think 112% funded, which is a level at which this kind of revaluation happens every 3 years, normally, and has happened this time. And because it is overfunded, we find ourselves in the situation that we're in. So it's fairly responsible and part of the normal way of doing things. In relation to the money that there is to spend this year, I've been, I think this is my 9th or 10th budget, I've lost track. But it is the first time that I can remember there being any ability to go outside of trying to balance it and just trying to cut things and just try and find efficiencies. So I'm really pleased that as part of that, a lot of this money is going to go towards the less privileged parts of our borough, which are actually not very far away from this building in some cases, and in other cases at the other end of the borough. And I'm also really pleased that it gives us the opportunity to look at the master planning. As place portfolio holder, it gives us the chance to look at the master planning of our town centre. Because as I mentioned earlier, in the context of LGR, it is going to be really important that Hemel Town Centre punches at the weight it can punch. It's got a fantastic cultural aspect to it, and we need to find a way to get people from the Marlows to the Water Gardens much more easily, and I really hope that that will be something that we can start to explore. It's a high-level process. There isn't very much money. Believe it or not, 150,000 isn't very much money to spend on master planning, but it is something. I know that ward members have been consulted about it already, and they seem to be quite excited about it, and so am I.
Thank you. Councillor Freedman, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm rising in my position as the current chair of the Finance and Resources Committee, of which Councillor Williams is an active member. I don't fully agree with his comments with regards to, shall I say, the lack of direction and oversight in regards to the pleasantly received news of some extra funding coming to us. We have had extensive conversations within the last scrutiny committee, which the Section 151 officer and his team were keen to explain to councillors and to answer questions on. There is some truth to what Councillor Williams is saying in the fact that while we have some clear objectives of how the council is proposing to use this money, there were some questions about Dacorum Borough Council's capacity to deliver the projects discussed on a short timescale, which is why he may feel there is not enough detail on those projects. But it is worth saying, while we are approving a budget, we are approving the objectives of the use of that money rather than the individual sides. The council has a system of delegated controls and oversight. In this particular matter, the F&R committee is the key point for that. So I will take issue with the implication that the budget is looking to kind of whittle this money away without any decision. And I welcome all councillors to attend that committee where these matters are discussed. And I hope I'm speaking on behalf of officers, but I would like to say that I have confidence that we have a process that these decisions are being taken in a responsible and controlled way.
Thank you. So before I invite the mover of the motion to exercise their right of reply, all members who have indicated they wish to speak have, and does the seconder wish to exercise their right to speak?
I would. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Actually, I was hoping to be able to give a bit of an update on the direction of travel and provide a bit more detail in my portfolio slot, but it wasn't seen necessary.
Sorry, can I just clarify, this isn't an update on your portfolio now, this is specifically...
No, I'm talking to the budget.
Thank you.
Right. So the fair funding review was, of course, only announced just before Christmas and took a good deal of time to unpick and be sure of where it left us. And so there hasn't been an enormous amount of time to put flesh on the bones that Councillor Williams has requested. Nonetheless, we have been through a prioritisation process since the papers came out. The 1.4 Stronger Futures budget that you refer to is going to be focusing very much on inequalities. The reason for that is that the fair funding formula was one that highlighted that decorum was an area that experiences some quite significant inequalities, and we have that money in order to address those. So we are going about it in that way. The other thing we're very conscious of, as you've highlighted, the County Council has taken a hit on the fair funding review, and we are aware that that means that certain services, such as youth services, are likely to be affected in the borough. So we are looking at making sure that we are reinforcing youth provision in the borough to compensate for that. So the prioritisation, as it says in the paperwork, we are looking to tackle inequality and invest in neighbourhoods. So some of the most likely elements that are being strongly considered are ones which build on existing track records. As Councillor Freeman has highlighted, it is important that this is deliverable. We have to spend the money within the financial year, and therefore we do not have much scope to build up new projects. Nonetheless, we've got a lot of very good pilots that have been undertaken in the borough that we can build on, which means that we can be both, we can hit impact and deliverability targets. So to give a bit of a flavour of that, one of them is extending the TRAP Youth Intervention Programme, which has been running in Astley Cooper School, extend that to some other schools in the borough. To replace the UK Shared Prosperity funding, which of course will not be renewed, but to continue that, particularly for employability schemes. There's also a lot of very good community safety work being undertaken in Drive Hill by some colleagues from the other side of the chamber, and we would like to build on that and in particular look at antisocial behaviour remedies working within the community, and as well as putting in place interventions that are going to deter. Also, we've had the Future Neighbourhood Scheme trialled in Highfield, and we'll be looking to roll that out. So there are a number of very concrete interventions there, which are aimed to benefit those who are most disadvantaged in the area, and also in many cases focusing on the needs of young people within our borough to very much address the concerns that Councillor Williams has raised. So I do recommend this to you as, yes, being still requiring a lot more substance, but there is a direction of travel which I think deserves the support of this chamber. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Symington, as mover of the motion, do you wish to exercise your final right of reply?
Thank you. I'll just say a few words. Firstly, I want to thank Councillor Dorris for his cunning plan. Terry, we're really happy to take away your cunning plan and look into it. I think in fairness, and I think we've mentioned this really a number of times, certainly during the last year, in terms of equity, I think, great, let's have a best kept village, but also let's have a look at some of the community centres in Hemel Hempstead and say, where are our best kept communities? But I'm happy to take that away and look at it in the broader scheme of things. So thank you for that recommendation. Just going back to the reason that we have the extra funding, I think it's really important to note that the reason that we have, and it's a 3-year settlement from central government, very unusual and really, really welcome, a 3-year settlement because Hemel Hempstead, because Dacorum has been identified as one of the districts and boroughs with areas of deprivation and those most in need. And it is with humility that we take on board this duty, and I feel it is a duty, to spend the money that's been allocated by the government, which has come as a windfall at very short notice, in the way in which I'm sure it was intended, and in the way that I think that everybody in this chamber knows in their heart is the right way to spend it, and that is for the benefit of the people who are most in need in our communities, whether they be in Hemel Hempstead or the towns or villages across Dacorum. And that is what we plan to do. Now, obviously it's regrettable that we can't tell you and pin it down to the very last penny, but you can take it from us. We have already done a lot of work from this. We've worked with officers, for whom I must extend and should at this point put on record our thanks, because it is, and I'll maybe come back to that, having said I wouldn't speak for too long, I might come back to that in a minute. It has been an enormous amount of work done at pace to bring forward projects that we can and that are deliverable in the time frame that we've got. So there, as I'm sure you're all aware, effectively 2 sources of money. There's the longer term, the 3-year funding that I've just referred to, which we got from central government. There's also what you might call the windfalls from the changes to the pension fund, one of which is one-off and one of which is ongoing. And also obviously the extra interest that we're getting, and we know interest rates are going down now. So we know that in the short term isn't going to last. But as I said, we know that there are areas across Hemel and across the borough that need investment, and that is what we propose to do. We also propose, and we're looking, and it is well documented, that young people have really suffered. Many of them suffered very considerably during COVID, coming out of COVID, and many of them have not had cannot find jobs, and we have a mental health epidemic amongst young people. And that, in many cases, is leading to antisocial behaviour and people whose lives face, really poor prospects. If you're not in work by the time you're 25, you can often end up long-term unemployed. So we are really, really keen that that money is invested in supporting young people through activities, through mentoring, through work programs, through placements, to make sure that they have the best chances in life. And that is what the Stronger Futures programme is aimed at. I said that I would circle back round to the officers, and I'm going to just take this opportunity to pay my, I think on behalf of all of us, we should be thanking officers. Not only are they having to deliver business as usual, we also, as you all recognise, now have some extra projects at hand, which we are really keen to deliver on, and it's the right thing that we do that. But they're also having to work through all the work around local government reorganisation. So they need all of our support and our thanks for all the work that they do, and I hope that you will all join me in extending that to them. In terms of the budget, I'm very excited, and yes, it is great to have some money to spend. It is really, really nice. It is important that we spend it wisely. It's important that we spend it collectively, and that we all get behind and do this with the best will to make sure, as I said, that we put that money to the best use for the people who need it most in our community. So I hope that you will all support the budget that we've brought forward and help us to deliver the best we can for the communities, our communities, over the next year. Thank you.
Thank you. So that concludes the debate. In accordance with our constitution, this item will now be determined by a recorded vote. Under Rule 16.5.2, a recorded vote is required at a meeting of a council on business to approve a budget or set council tax. The minutes of this meeting will record the names of those voting for, against and abstaining. So we'll now proceed to the recorded vote. The vote will be held electronically using your microphones. Instructions can be found at your seats. If you experience any difficulty in casting your vote, please raise your hand and someone will assist you. To agree the recommendations, vote yes. To oppose the recommendations, vote no. If you wish, you may select abstain. I will now hand over to Democratic Services to conduct the vote.
Okay, I'm just setting up the vote and it should appear on your screen shortly. If anyone needs any help with their vote, please put your hand up, but it should appear on your screen now. You should have the option to press for, against or abstain.
The others have blanked out, so you voted. The others have blanked out, so you voted for. So we just press that one? You can switch that one.
We are showing 2 that haven't yet voted. You should have 1 selected and 2 greyed out. If you don't have that, then you have not voted. Okay. Got it? Lovely. Everyone all right? Okay, I'm now going to close the vote. I have you. Has it gone off, yeah?
Thank you.
Madam Mayor,
Councillor Symington.
can I say something?
Can I just announce the result of the vote first?
Oh, yes, you can.
Thank you. So, thank you. I can now confirm that the results are as follows. For, 42, against, 3, abstentions, 0. No.
Oh, sorry, it's the wrong way round.
Apologies. For is 42, against, 0, abstentions, 3. The motion is therefore carried. Councillor Symington, you wanted to speak?
Thank you for allowing me this opportunity, Madam Mayor. I guess I just really wanted to thank everyone in the chamber who supported the budget and to say I think it's very unusual, well maybe it's not very unusual, but it seems to be unusual to me that we can unanimously get behind a budget, and I really hope that we can all work together to deliver as outlined in the budget
Thank you.
collectively for all our residents.
Thank you. It wasn't quite unanimous because there were some absentations, but thank you. So I will now hand back to Councillor Symington to introduce the remaining referrals from Cabinet, please.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So item 7.4 CA/10/26 HRA business plan. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.4 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
Can I second that? Thank you.
Yes. Are the recommendations agreed? Thank you.
Thank you. Item 7.5 CA/11/26 conservation area character appraisals. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.5 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
I second that.
Are the recommendations agreed?
Agreed. Thank you. Item 7.6 CA/18/26 investment partnership business plan. I move the recommendations as set out under item 7.6 of the agenda. Do I have a seconder?
Can I second that? Thank you.
Thank you. Are the recommendations agreed? Okay. Agenda item 8, overview and scrutiny referrals. There are none. So moving on to agenda item 9, I invite the leader to introduce the council tax setting report.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I move the recommendations as set out under item 9 of the agenda.
Do you have a seconder?
I'd like to second that, please.
Thank you. So there's no members indicating wishing that they would like to speak to this. So on that basis, as the seconder of the motion, you have a right to speak, or I can move back to Councillor Symington. Okay, I'll move back to Councillor Symington.
No, I don't think I need to speak to this. I'm glad there's no comments, and I'm glad that we can agree the budget and set the council tax. I hope we can move forward with that item. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so we still need to do that as a recorded vote in accordance with Rule 16.5.2 of the Constitution, as a recorded vote is required at a meeting of a council on business to approve the budget or set council tax. This item therefore will be determined by recorded vote. The minutes of this meeting will record the names of those voting for, against and abstaining. We will now proceed to the recorded vote. As before, the vote will be conducted electronically using your microphones. Instructions are available at your seats. If you experience any difficulty in casting your vote, please raise your hand and assistance will be provided. To agree the recommendations, vote yes. To oppose the recommendations, vote no. If you wish to abstain, you may select abstain. I will now hand over to Democratic Services to conduct the vote.
I've now opened the vote as before. If anyone has any issues, please pop your hand up and I can come over. There we go. So that's everyone voted, so I'm going to close the vote.
Thank you. I'll say it accurately this time. So I can now confirm the results are as follows. 44, against 0, abstentions 1. The motion is therefore carried. So moving on to agenda item 10, I will now hand over to Councillor Symington to advise of any changes to outside organisation representation.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I rise because and I asked for this to be on the agenda because I was contacted by the Tring Community Centre to ask for another rep from Dacorum Borough Council. I'm afraid that we do not currently have a volunteer to do that. So I think if we could just note that Councillor Weston is no longer their rep and that we will bring forward a new rep at the next meeting.
Thank you. Is that agreed? Thank you. So that brings us to agenda item 11, changes to committee membership. Are there any changes? Councillor Symington.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I will be replacing Councillor Allen on the Development Management Committee.
Thank you. Councillor Williams? Councillor Mitchell?
No changes.
Thank you. And finally, to agenda item 12, changes to committee dates, there are none. And that concludes the business of this evening's meeting. Thank you, everybody.